Hello and welcome to Good Morning Pattaya, Pattaya Channel's very own breakfast show. I'm your host, Nick Pendrell, and joining me, as usual, is my regular co-host, Mr. Dave D.
Good morning, Nick. How are you?
I'm very good. And how's your good self?
I'm here. I'm not disappeared yet, but that could be a bit of a problem today, Nick.
I think today's show is going to be really magic.
Looking forward to it.
Because we have Howard Posener with us, who is a magician.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
So, how did you become a magician, and how long have you been a magician?
When I was a kid, I loved watching magic on TV. And I bought those sets, you know.
Right.
But I could never work out how those sets work. Even with the instructions and books, that was impossible. But with my spending money, I actually went to a local magic shop and I bought little magic tricks that were worked on props as opposed to skill.
Right.
And then I spent more money on private tuition to learn how to do magic. Then I got involved with a magician who was a priest, who was my main teacher.
Wow,
and at the age
bizarre
of,
combination.
It was a really weird combination because at the age of 14, I did my first exorcism. So I got involved in that kind of magic as well as entertainment magic.
Trade secrets, and so an exorcism's really just magic tricks.
I'll explain at the very end how an exorcism does. And in fact, we could even do one live. Plus, I can cut you in half on this table.
We could probably make some confessions on it today.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So this was one of your first mentors, the priest magician.
Yeah.
And what happened after?
Then I basically went on vacations, and especially if it rained and the hotel had nothing to do, I was just start doing magic basically for fun.
Right.
And I was in one location, I think south of France, and it rained every day. And then the manager called me up and says, "Look, Howard, if you do magic, we can't cope now. It's raining, everyone's complaining about the food not being delivered on time. If you do it, we'll comp your room, and we'll upgrade you to a penthouse, and we'll give you a free flight and accommodation next time you come in." And I'm going, wow, all this with a deck of cards.
Was that the first time you thought, actually, I could make some money out of this, I can make a living out of it?
I've actually thought just free holidays, to be quite honest. I mean, it was just marvellous to be able to do that. And that's what happened. I was the only person hoping it was going to rain the next day, which it did. And there was like 200-300 people. And then they asked me to do a stage show. And I've never, ever done a stage show at that time. I studied it. And no props, I was on holiday. So I went to the local, Woolworths, and I bought some rope, a deck of cards, a few coins, and I did a 25-minute stage show to all these international people. And I got a standing ovation, and from there, someone said, "Can you come to my hotel?" And then someone from
snowball effect.
It just snowballed. Someone was there from the QE2, and they offered me a gig on the QE2, which in those days was the finest cruise ship in the world.
Sure, yeah.
And I just said yes to anything at that time. Yeah. And that was my first cruise ship experience, and it was the worst weather ever recorded, from London to New York, right? And I had to do my stage show. And the audience, the theatre probably held about 400 or 500 people, and there was 4 people in the audience, all spread out, one there, one there.
Oh, no.
Right? And the boat was doing this, and I felt really,
Yeah.
And halfway through the show, the piano comes to attack me at full speed. It came off its railing, so to speak. But from there, I got onto New York TV. Then I got a massive break, which was a main thing that really helped my career, was Annabelle's in London.
I remember it.
In its day, and it's probably still true today, it was the most exclusive club in the world and restaurant, most expensive. And they had a private dining room at the back, and I was the only live entertainment they've ever had before and since. For 5 years, once every week in the private dining room, I did magic for 12 people.
Wow.
And they had an a la carte dinner, and my audience would be Prince Charles, Lady Diana those days, kings, queens, principals, Rod Stewart, all these celebrities. And I would sit at the head of the table doing this kind of really close-up magic is what I love.
Yeah. So you really are by royal appointment, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's a big comeuppance to making a piano go across the
Oh, I tell you, when I saw that happening...
Did you put your hand up just to pretend that you'd done it?
I was thinking, I just can't believe it only happened to me. I mean, and give you some idea, my table with all the props, that got hit by the piano, it just went flying.
Wow.
Unfortunately, no one videoed it in those days. The guy with the video camera was not there because he was sick.
Sure.
It was a...
What about the going back to Annabelle's? I mean, doing the shows for the royal know people and
Yeah.
people of stardom. And I mean, how did that affect you in any way? Did you ever get nervous?
At the very beginning, I was intimidated because I also had to be the host. And people would turn up knowing other people were similar. They didn't know who else was going to be there.
Yeah.
But Annabelle's sort of the top management ensured that if there was like an Arabian prince, there wouldn't be someone of a political opposite interest.
Okay.
So, and from that, though, I got gigs all over the world, especially California. And I was flown to California maybe once a month, and in the freezing cold of London, I'm flown first class, and I think this is not looking a bad place. And then I got so many gigs in California, I just thought I'll go there and be based.
Yeah.
And that was strange because to get a green card and work in America is not easy.
No, I was going to say.
So the lawyer said, you can't do it as a magician because there's quite a few magicians. However, to get a green card, my category can also be a priest.
Priest back again.
Yeah, and that's how it went under a religious specialist area. Yeah.
Good grief.
And I got a green card, then I became an American citizen, and now I'm here.
So how long were you in the States for?
11 years.
All right.
And from there, the kind of people I met, I traveled everywhere, all over Europe. They flew me to palaces. Interesting story, I did a private gig for an Arab prince who flew me to Marbella in Spain, and I worked on the boat that used to belong to Khashoggi, the biggest private cruise ship. And there was this Arab prince in the audience, didn't speak great English, but good enough, and he loved the magic. And he goes, if you can do this particular trick, you can have, and I'm looking, he had this one of those beautiful knives, you know, the old-fashioned, like Lawrence of Arabia knives, all diamond encrusted. And he goes, oh, you want this? I said, no, it's okay. But anyway, he thought I was looking at his watch. So I did the trick that he really thought would be impossible. And he goes, this is yours. And this is the actual watch he gave me.
Wow.
Which is one hand-cut solid sapphire.
Wow.
Good
with
grief.
gold inside, yeah.
I'd hide that.
I would have preferred the knife, but that's
It's more practical, though.
Yeah.
What do you think
easy to get through customs.
What do you think the most exciting one you've done? I mean, the one that gave you the biggest buzz.
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I've entertained all the celebrities, and it is amazing though when you go to entertain some of the classic celebrities you're brought up with, and they would take a deck of cards from me, like Steve. What's the comedian?
Steve
American.
Coogan?
Sorry,
Coogan?
No, top American comedian.
Steve Wright.
I can't remember his name now, but anyway, they would come to me, and he would take the cards from me, and he was a magician beforehand. Dick Van Dyke was a magician. He was called the Great Flydini, Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
Yeah,
Steve Martin.
yeah.
Steve Martin.
Tip of my tongue.
And he turned out to be a brilliant magician. And then I did one for the Secretary of Defense in America, very posh party, security everywhere. And one of the things I did is I could take people's watches, rings off without them knowing. And I took this ring off without her knowing. Now, I thought I was pushing my luck because they're security guards and not one of them saw me do it. And then they got a phone call and they're all rushed out. And I'm going, she can't go yet. I've still got a ring. And they wouldn't let me go back to give it to her, which was very funny. I mean, that was an interesting story. And then, but what I do now is the kind of specialist magic, really close up. I use people's props, and people love this, so they know it's no trick photography. I use shield sleeve. I have this now because it's a Band-Aid. Even magicians cut themselves. But it's really, I'll give you a quick example.
Let's have a look. Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
So, and you get used to certain coins from certain currencies. So we have an American quarter, an American half. Okay. And if you watch them really carefully, okay? Yep. And if I just squeeze it like that, okay. Okay? Okay. And people will be amazed that that can actually happen.
Yeah.
And, okay, all right. Some people are amazed,
Someone's watching
or
really
some people
carefully.
are speechless. And this is, I brought this along because it's kind of appropriate. In America, at certain times in the history, gambling was illegal. And what would happen, they'd be playing cards, and if they heard the police were coming, they would take the cards, put them quickly in the box, close the box, and I'll do it all very slowly so you can see, put the box back in here, and close up the box. Okay? You can actually see that?
Yep.
And then when the police would turn up, they say, you've been gambling. And you say, no, I haven't. they say, look, we know the cards are in the box. And you say, no, they're not. And then you'd open up the box and there'd be nothing there. They can actually see. And that would be that one. So it was pretty safe.
Bizarre. How does he do that?
Right. Or, here's one of my favorites. This was made famous by a great illusionist, someone I really loved watching, is David Copperfield from America. Now, he did this in front of like 20,000 people on a TV live spectacle, just using 2 rubber bands. You can examine them if you want.
I confirm that they are real
2 rubber bands. But once again, the kind of magic I do is just using coins, cards, rubber bands, paper clips. And people now bring along, when I perform, their own cards, because they don't believe, it's genuine. But you can see, let me just show you, 1 band is in front, that now is behind. Would you agree with that? You can see it. So it cannot come through here or here, and it can't come through the middle, correct?
Yeah.
It cannot slowly go right through when you watch it that close.
How strange. How bizarre.
That is scary.
Yeah,
Scary.
Yeah. That is quite remarkable.
So,
thank you.
My question to you is, do people trust you with their money?
Maybe double it.
Or can you double it?
I double it, money. Even more so, yeah.
I mean, is there any, I would imagine how you know many illusions and tricks that you do. I mean, is there anything you've ever seen and you think, I've got to do that? I want to know how to do that. I've got to do it.
There was one, I went to a lecture in the Magic Circle where you would have guest magicians from all over the world giving lectures. And most magicians, in fact, when they become a professional magician, they know how every trick's done. It's like playing the piano. Once you know the chords, you know how it's done. And this magician had a brand new deck of cards, still shrink-wrapped. He threw them out to the audience of magicians and threw 3 times. Whoever caught it had to throw again so it could not be rigged. Asked that magician to undo it, take out 1 card, making sure he could not see it. And so the magician did it in the audience, held 1 card, and the magician on the stage said it was a 6 of clubs. And every magician, may not be such a great trick for a normal audience, but for magicians, no one could work out in the world how it's done, including me. And then, unfortunately, the magician should have stopped there. And he said he's been doing this for 2 years, and it was the first time he ever guessed the trick right. But if he never said that,
it would have been great.
Every magician would have gone away thinking, how did he do that? But it was the first time.
I mean, some of the card tricks that are around today, of course, I mean, you must sort of pay attention to them. I mean, I seen a guy once do a story with a deck of cards, where he just shuffles them up and then basically he starts to put them on the table. I used to live at number 39.
Yeah, that's right. Very classic. Yeah.
Very, very good. And right at the end, he's gone through all the deck, and right at the end he says, and of course the king and queen were very happy at the end of the story. And he goes through the whole deck, and that amazed me. I mean, that was great. I mean, close-up stuff like that. I mean, it's just so fantastic. I can see why it's so popular with what you do.
Oh, yeah. Because it's no props, short sleeves, they know mirrors, they know you can't really cheat. And it is amazing that some of the audiences have booked me for private events. I start to do a card trick and they go, here's my cards, as if it's going to make any difference, or my coins, or my rubber bands. Funny.
Have you ever done, this is the close-up, but at the opposite end of the scale, like David Blaine?
Yeah, I've done in Hyde
States.
Park, 20,000 audience.
Wow.
I also, the last big illusion show I did was in America, where I produced a new Jaguar from nowhere as a car. And that's probably the last time I said I was going to do it, because they had a new team for pyrotechnics on the day of the actual event, as opposed to rehearsals. And they pressed the button 5 seconds early. I went up in the air, literally about 15 foot, right? The car got produced as well, directly under me. And everyone in the audience thought, wow! Because me going up, flying in the air, and the car, I ended up in the hospital, but no one knew that. But they said it was the most spectacular event ever. But that was not so good for me.
You didn't go back for an encore then?
No, that was it.
Great.
So Howard, if somebody wanted to hire you for an event...
MagicHoward.com. magichoward.com.
magichoward.com.
And now,
where we can find you.
as you know, I'm performing regularly at Mantra.
Mantra Restaurant.
Yeah.
That's at the start of Beach Road, Pattaya Beach Road, yeah.
Beautiful restaurant. And now I'm performing getting a lot of inquiries from Hong Kong and Singapore, because those countries are booming when it comes to entertainment.
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So, Howard, thank you very much for coming on. Your time is up, so now we're all going to have to disappear, I'm afraid.